right. Hey, anyone and everyone listening. This is the Third Wheel podcast where we're going to talk about basically whatever we want. I am Grace Madrid. I am joined by my co-hosts, Steven and Brandon. Say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh my God. We've got a super, probably mediocre episode for you today, but
Mediocre.
that's just because Brandon's coming up with the topic. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my intro. It took a lot of coercion.
You know what?
It sounded like
Took a
you were
lot of
saying no,
coercion.
you didn't enjoy Grace's intro. That's how it sounded like. I hope
a
you
lot of
enjoyed the
coercion.
intro. No.
It took a lot of coercion for Steven to let me do this. And by a lot, I mean I had to ask.
She literally was just like, hey, I want to do the intro. And I went, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. Also,
Yeah.
I would like to point out when I went, hey, my microphone was muted, so no one heard it. But it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
Okay.
I'll just edit in like Brandon doing something.
Oh,
Wait, you were muted?
I wasn't muted on Discord, but I had my audio muted, so you couldn't hear me. But it's fine.
Can
It's fine.
you edit in that hey you just did though?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
Sensational.
Totally.
Okay.
Anyways,
Back to business.
What are we doing today, Grace?
I'm so glad you asked, asswipe. Today we're
Wow, so violent.
I know. Today we are making fun of Brandon because he lost last week's episode.
The loser.
No, you already made fun of me last week during
You
the
said
end
we
of the
had to
episode.
stop.
Yeah, until we pick a new one, you're still the third wheel.
That is actually that's true. That's technically true. There's not been a new third wheel declared, so it's still you.
Huh.
How does it feel, loser?
Wow. I don't have words right now. This is coming. That's a shock to me.
Your words being a third
Alright.
wheel to you.
We don't have enough time for you to be shocked.
That's fair.
Brandon, please do tell us, what is this week's topic?
Alrighty, so we all have had experiences in school, like during recess or PE. I'm just thinking we talk about some unique or funny or just interesting things that have happened to us or a group of people that we were with, and it can be any time during like recreational hours such as like recess, or just stuff that has happened in PE where you're not normally like sitting down doing math or whatever. It's because it's
We get the idea.
Yeah.
Basically kicking it back to the playground.
I think you need to talk to me more about what PE is. I don't think I entirely understand. I think I need a more thorough explanation.
I can look up the definition for you if
It's
you
physical
want.
education. We understand. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
We're fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, Brandon, since you had the story, you have the topic.
Yes,
Alright,
since you have
well,
the call to pick it.
You have to tell us.
I've got some 4 stories for us today.
That's great.
My two main ones I'll talk about more in the middle of the episode. So I'll start off with my two shorter ones to kind of lay out the theme, or not the theme, but just
Cool.
some
Continue.
samples. So, alrighty. So this first one, this one, yeah, like I said, this is a smaller one, this one happened during PE specifically. We were playing Ultimate Frisbee. It was a Ultimate Frisbee section. And this was, I want to say, I want to say it was 7th grade, yeah. And we had basically this giant field in the back of our school where we played Ultimate Frisbee on. And I can't remember the exact amount of people that were on each team, but there was about 7 or 8 people a team, if I remember correctly. And I was on a team with one of my friends who I will call A. And
Can we ever use real names?
I don't know. I'm just protecting
A is now Aaron.
Aaron.
It makes the experience better for the viewers at home.
I don't know. I can't
Our
imagine this
listeners,
person as
whatever.
an Aaron, but you know what? We'll go for it. So we'll
I
call
don't
this
think
person
that was
Aaron.
the point she was making.
I don't. I know.
I don't care if they seem like an Aaron. It just makes it easier to virtualize this as an actual person if you use a real
Okay.
name.
Brandon's
Okay,
like, this
all right,
guy's
we'll
more
go
of a
with Aaron.
Jake to me, but I mean, we'll go.
We'll go with Aaron then, and then we'll call the other person Kyle. So my friends Aaron and Kyle. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So
You good?
first one I will tell. Yeah. It's just I'm having flashbacks. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this first one happened in PE. We were actually it was in 7th grade. Wait. Yeah, it was in. Was it in 7th grade? Yeah, it was in 7th grade, and
Are you asking us?
I was talking to myself.
I mean,
You know what?
I can give you a rough estimate of how long ago it was, but I don't think I'll be right.
This happened in 7th grade, as well as yeah, but so usually before PE class started, we started out in this building we just called it the parish hall, and so and it was basically this just very just large one-roomed building with like bathrooms on the side of it and stuff, but it was in the middle of it was just like 2 basketball courts. Or no, it was one full like one just very large basketball court basically, and we all just kind of met in the center of it, just to start the PE day. And just for context, I had about 37 kids in my class. And yeah, we all just kind of gather in a circle in the middle of the room while our PE teacher was explaining what was going on for the day. So I think we were like learning square dancing or something like that for the spring fling for a spring fling we had going on. So people were just kind of scattered as he was getting like the music ready and stuff like that. And I was sitting with a group of my friends, but the ones that pertain to this specific story was Aaron from my previous PE story, and we'll call this other gentleman Liam. And
Interesting.
so yeah, we're all doing our own thing. Everyone's doing their own thing, and just for perspective, I'm standing up and Aaron is sitting crisscross applesauce right behind me. Liam is standing as well, just kind of off to like outside our group circle doing his own thing. He had this little watch that we'd all like tease him calling it a spy watch because it was weird. It was like a smartwatch, but it also had like a camera on the side of it so he could just take recordings and stuff. And so I'm just kind of minding my own business. I'm just kind of looking around, just trying to figure out like what's going on with like PE teacher and stuff. My friends are talking around me, and just out of nowhere, I feel my pants just appear, just off my body. I look down, and I have been pantsed by Aaron. And I tell you, I kid you not, I have never like I don't really know if I don't really consider myself to have a great like reflex, but I have never so quickly just bent down, like pulled my pants back up, turn around, Sparta kicked Aaron in the chest.
I am
like
just
that
now
was
having an epiphany of who Aaron is.
Yeah.
And we went to high school together.
Yeah, yeah, this was all one fluid motion. I pull up my pants, I twist around, I kick the living shit out of Aaron. and miraculously, somehow, like, the only people who saw were the people in my friend group. Like, no one else outside of that, including the people. I don't know how, but unless they just didn't say anything, but I didn't see anyone looking my direction. It was, but I look and I see Liam, and he has his spy watch pointed at me, and I'm like, Liam, you did not just record you getting paid. he's like, well, about that, and 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 like even Aaron at this point was like, okay, Liam, you need to delete that, man. He's like, okay, well, I'll delete it when I get home. So, the next day, um, oh, I go up to Liam, like my friend group and I, we just go up to Liam. We're like, hey, did you delete that? And he's like, yeah, I deleted it off my Spywatch. Or whatever, and we're like, okay, cool. And like 5 seconds pass, he's like, but I saved it to my computer.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, the specific wording has me curious.
And we're like, Liam, that's not deleting the video. Like, you need to delete that. And he's like, I don't know. Just for some reason, we could not get it through his head that you need to delete that. But to this day, I don't know if he actually deleted it or not, and I never really asked because I just kind of stopped caring. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that whoever Liam is needs to be on this podcast, and he needs to tell us. He needs to show us this video.
I would rather he didn't. I remember in English class, I was talking about like how it doesn't really bother me when people don't like me. I was like, I don't really care if people don't like me. I'd rather they just straight up say, I don't like me, or like, I don't like you, than just be fake or whatever. And then he immediately responds with, I don't like you. And I wasn't even talking to him. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But like, he's dropped much.
Okay, he's not going to be on the podcast, but I want this video. I want to see this fluid motion, Sparta kicking some guy.
Coincidentally, this next story I'm about to tell also involves Aaron and me physically assaulting each other.
Oh, okay, well, continue.
It's more mutual in this one, though.
It has this consensual, got it.
Yeah. So, in a weird way, these all are gonna kind of tie together.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, for context, this is in 6th grade, and the main event of this story happens during recess, but the events leading to it happened in a school play production. It was 6th grade, and Aaron and I had joined the tech crew for that because I'm
Does this fall under PE/recess?
The main thing happened in recess. I'm just giving context for why this happened in recess, like whatever. Like
I'm just checking.
You'll understand. But yeah, we were in tech crew or whatever because I was shy. Like I didn't want to be on stage, but I liked being a part of it, that kind of stuff. And I actually like tech crew. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't entirely remember how this started. It might have been. I think it started out as an accident. I don't know if I just like bumped Aaron with a prop or something in his crotch area.
In his manhood.
But like he took it personally, and he fucking like sucker punched my man. And I was on the ground again, having flashbacks to 1st grade when freaking Dylan did that. And I'm like, except for this was like a punch, like, and I'm dying on the floor, and I'm just like imagine like Revenge of the Sith, Anakin just staring up at Obi-Wan with just hate in his eyes. I was staring at Aaron with hate in my eyes. Like this isn't over. like oh man. So sorry. So flash forward to one day in 6th grade in recess. I want to say this was about a few days after. We're chilling. Just it was like a break recess kind of thing, And at one point, I was very smooth. I brought out the Brandon charisma. I was like, I'm I'm gonna head to the bathroom. Aaron, you want to join me? Like, just want to like walk down there or something like that. So I don't remember the exact phrasing, but the important part is that I got Aaron and I into a bathroom alone, and I think one of our other friends followed us, but I once we walked in there, I made sure we were the only ones in there, and Aaron's like just. I don't know. He's just kind of chilling, and because he didn't need to do anything, and he's not expecting this, but I just like I'm recalling back to that night in Tech Crew, and I'm fuming, and I just say, "Hey, Aaron," and he looks at me, and I say, "Payback, motherfucker!" The absolute shit out of his. Like it was bad, and his eyes just got so big, and he collapsed to the floor. And
That's unlucky, man.
Christ.
Imagine having balls.
and it got to a point where I actually kind of felt bad because he was crying, like he was bawling.
Dude,
like he
was
like
his
it was
manhood
like
away. Of course
like
he was.
like it wasn't even bawling. He was just softly crying, just staring on the other side of the wall, just holding himself, and he was red, and he just could not feel anything.
He probably saw the light of heaven because you almost murdered him.
and I'm like, I just kind of had a holy shit, what have I done moment. And I'm just kind of like, my other friend that followed us in there was like, what did you do? I'm like, I got paid back. But why do I feel bad? And
Jesus.
so I was really lucky a teacher didn't walk in that bathroom because I kid you not, recess lasted for about 15 minutes. Aaron was down the entire 15 minutes in the bathroom, and we were just kind of kneeling next to him.
That sounds about right.
Just kind of comforting him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And oh my god.
That's.
But yeah, it was.
I'm gonna go back to the point I made last episode that you are a horrible child.
You know what? He shouldn't have. I mean, like I felt bad, but at the same time, he should just. I don't know. There's no way to justify violence,
Nope.
but I will say he started that.
For someone who doesn't tolerate or justify violence, you tend to have a lot of stories of you either beating other people up or you getting like the shit beaten out of you.
You make my mom seem like a saint.
You know what? It was
Brandon really beating up the he's really beating the mother who beat the wrong child.
I would love to propose a theory that you were the child that my mom beat the shit out of at Disneyland. And you are just reciprocating all of this anger and hate that you felt towards this random woman on other people. I would love that to be the case. I would love that to be the case. I want theories. That would be so funny.
Oh, but yeah, so that happened. And to this, I mean, surprisingly, Aaron and I stayed friends through 8th grade, but I mean, we just kind of fell out during high school. We met different people and stuff, but yeah, that's something that
him into a bathroom and removed and stripped his manhood. Oh my gosh. Jesus.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
That's rough. Well,
this is a story that happened in 1st grade. It was during recess. I want to say it was like an end of the day recess kind of thing. And I was hanging out with my friends. We'll call them Sam, Elijah, and I don't know. Well, it's a good
Dylan.
We'll call yeah, Dylan. Dylan. Yeah. Okay. So, I was playing with Elijah, Dylan, and
Yeah,
Sam. And
those are your friends.
yes, but they're not. Yeah.
I'm telling
I
you
feel
your
like
own
this
story
is more
right
confusing.
now.
This is more confusing to me, but whatever. Honestly, Sam and Dylan aren't really the main people I'm talking about, but you know, so I'll call the main character Dylan. My main friend that this story revolves around Dylan. So, during this recess, we were playing a game, and basically, it was two people just stood at like one side of the blacktop area, because we just called it the blacktop area because it was just basically an asphalt recess play area. But so two people just kind of sat or just stood at the edge of the blacktop, and the other two is basically a race thing. They would start running from there, loop around, come back, and we're just very basic first grade game, right? So the person, I was one of the people standing at the edge of the blacktop, and yeah, once the person came back, they just had to tag my hand, and the person who was in the lane that I was standing in, like, on the edge for was Dylan. And so Dylan's considerably like taller and just a bigger person than me in general. Like, he was one of the much taller kids in my class at the time, and I want to say he was like a foot or so taller than me, and he was just much more filled out than I was, because I just was kind of very underweight at the time. And so he takes off, and so does my other friend Sam. They took off, so I'm sitting there with Elijah and just waiting for a comeback. And Sam beats Dylan by a considerable amount of time, so he tags him in. And so, Sam and Elijah, they just kind of go off to the side, and apparently Dylan's very mad that he lost. And so I look over and I see Dylan just charging at me, and he looks pretty pissed off. Like, his face is like a very tomato red, and he's just his face just looks very angry, and he's coming at me. So I just kind of step to the side a little bit and keep my hand held out. But then, like, the last few feet, he starts turning towards me, and it happened so fast. But all I remember is that he, like, as he was full on sprinting, he leaps like a few feet in front of me, front kicks me into my manhood, and everything just stops. I black out for a second. Like, I just feel pain, and then I don't feel anything.
Can't relate.
I don't remember anything. All I remember is I slowly just regained some sort of feeling. I was just on the ground, and the blacktop was very hot at that point. But I didn't even feel the burning. I was just very much hurting internally. Like, I don't think I've ever been kicked so hard. Like, yeah, like, just like, and and so Sam literally had to he basically had to help me walk me up all the way back like up kind of because the asphalt was kind of sloped, so we were on the bottom of that slope, so we had to walk all the way up the hill as I was dying. And we had to explain to my first grade teacher, like, so we were playing a game, and it was a very interesting conversation. But
That is
needless to say,
interesting.
I did not associate myself with Dylan long after that. I was pretty
that's fair.
pissed off.
That's fair.
And I think he ended up transferring out after first grade anyway, so it's not like the friendship would have, like, I guess.
Did he get transferred, or did he get like suspended or pulled out?
I don't remember I don't know if they really. I think they may have given him like a citation or detention or something, but he never got suspended. It might have been because we were in first grade. I don't know, but
Gotcha.
yeah, that happened.
I love the image of just, tiny little Brandon, who's kind of thin, kind of stick-like, having this giant fly at him with a flying sidekick.
Yeah.
Just that whole, like, anime sprint dash towards you while he's having his own little monologue and then flying in for a kick.
To this day, though, I just wonder, like, why. Like, I'm guessing he was upset that he lost, but why did he take it out on me?
That's unlucky.
That's very unfortunate, sir.
Continuing along with the theme of body mutilation, I too have a PE story.
I don't like that phrase. That makes me incredibly worried.
So, this is going to be a little short because I'm going to be tying in a few stories into one. But essentially, I was a bit of a legend in my class, and not for a good reason. You see, I had a very bad experience, multiple experiences with soccer. And the reason for that is because no matter how many times I played, what position I played, every single game, I would get hit in the face. And it was never intentional. And I could tell because everyone in my class felt really, really bad for me because of how often it happened. And it was like, I don't know, but like, it was really bad. And it was so bad to the point where my PE teacher took it as a valid excuse to not let me play every single time we played soccer.
Okay.
Like, you know it's serious when the teacher's like, yeah, dude, you're screwed. Please take a seat.
It's like I guess not excluded you. I guess it was their form of protecting you, but like they just didn't let you play.
Yeah, because the first time this happened, what started this off is, I'll go with the name Peter. Peter was cool. He was like super athletic guy, but like got super weirdly competitive when it came to soccer. So he like went to like tournaments all over, mostly Las Vegas and Reno. But his team was ranked really high nationally for whatever league he was in, which again was like still like middle school, so not like insanely like whatever. But yeah, so he got insanely competitive when it came to soccer. And so what started off my downfall was poor little me, who was a goalie defender.
Oh no.
I already didn't like sports. I was what my mom called a daisy picker. I was one of those kids who was forced to be signed up for soccer, sat in the grass, and like picked at daisies while everybody else was actually playing. So I was never good at sports, right? And so I'm like talking to people around me, whatever, because they're all the way on the other side, when all of a sudden Peter like comes fucking bolting down the field. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Like, could never be me. Good for you, man. Go off. I would like to mention he's also on the opposite team.
I got that impression.
Yeah. And so, even though he's still got like a decent distance away, he's like, I'm going to take the opportunity to shoot from here. Like, he wasn't half field. but he was still like got a quarter of the field left to need to like, he could have gotten closer, especially because like everybody in my class knew I was terrible at sports. I always picked like second or third to last, right?
Mhm.
So like he totally could have like gotten around me and I would not have put up a fight at all. Like I would have been like, yep, go ahead. I'm not risking anything here. But no, he really took his shot and kicked it right into my face directly.
Ew.
My nose hurt so bad. And at the time I had braces. So it cut into my
Yikes.
lip and started bleeding profusely.
Jesus.
And that is what started my very downward spiral with the sport, right?
Yikes.
So, cut forward to 4 more soccer games, I get hit in the face, right? And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done playing soccer, whatever. It's PE time, and I'm just chilling with my friends. We're, like, sitting on the blacktop, I think, like, next to the field. I wasn't even playing, and I got hit in the face with this stupid stuff. I was thoroughly upset. And so, yeah, everybody just felt really, really bad. And they're like, yeah, I don't even know. No one knew how to address it because like, it was just really bad luck. And so I never played soccer again. Like I said, the PE teacher let me sit out. And then cut forward to, I want to say, my sophomore year of high school. And this is after school. All my friends are just chilling. We all live like a good 20, 30 minutes away from school. So it takes a while for like carpools and or parents to get there to pick us up. So I forget who, but someone brought a beach ball and they're like, hey, let's play soccer. And I'm like, no, understandably now you
like
understand where I'm like, pass. Like,
I don't like that
soccer is
word.
not my sport. And they're like, why? And I was like, yeah, I always get hit in the face, so I'd rather not. And he's like, well, that's just a risk. Like, I think you're overthinking it. And while he's saying this, someone kicked the beach ball into my face.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I shit you not. While he was giving me the speech, while I'm overthinking it, I got hit in the face again. And he was just struck. He was just dumbstruck. He's like, he didn't even know what to say. He just went silent. Yeah, so long story short, I hate soccer, and I have yet to have played it ever since. I really hate it.
Damn.
I have another story.
Oh, this seems amazing.
You're welcome. It's actually about my sister, but you know what? I was there and I witnessed the whole thing, so it's fine.
Okay.
So my school did like a ton of events and like fundraisers and stuff. Like we would always hold like, it was called the Olympics, and basically what we would do is they would like split up different grades into like different countries, quote unquote, and you would like meet up with your teams and just play different sports and stuff against other teams. Obviously it sucked because like imagine being a 6th grader being paired up with a 1st grader. It just was not a good system.
That seems... Anyway,
that's just one of our events. The event I'm talking about was the Jogathon. I don't know how many people did this. I know a lot of other schools just called it like a marathon or whatever. But essentially this was kind of like a marathon. It was a fundraiser that I totally could have avoided had my mother just been like, nah, she's not going to do it, but she just didn't care enough to do it. So I had to do it like 8 years in a row.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, literally, my friend Kaylee got out of it by saying she, like, scraped her knee on a bike. And I was like, bro, where? Where is the scrape?
Where is the bike?
Dude, she was literally wearing a skirt, too. Like, it's not like she was wearing pants and hit it. Like,
it's there somewhere, I promise. I can...
Yes, so, essentially, the entire time, she was ringing a bell in my face and, like, spraying me, like, with this water thing. And I was like, I need you to calm down, ma'am. I'm fighting for my life.
Ma'am, please.
So, yeah, what we would do is we basically had these, like, little number cards on the back of our shirt, and essentially they were marked 1 to 100. And essentially, every time we ran one lap around the field, someone would mark a number off of our back to keep track of how many laps we ran. And essentially, our parents were supposed to sponsor us. And
Interesting.
like, so every time. I didn't realize this was a fundraiser up until like a couple months ago, actually. I just thought they cared about our health and well-being. But no.
That was just community day to get everyone out.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I thought. But no, I was wrong. Of course, it was about money. My mom never sponsored me, but they didn't care. You had to do it anyway. So, yeah. So while we ran the marathon, the middle school did a relay race. And so essentially, you would try to run as many laps as possible, but like you would do one lap, hand off the baton to somebody else, they would run one lap, etc. So this was 8th grade versus 7th grade, right? Well,
yeah.
I was in 6th grade at the time, I think. Yeah, I was in 6th grade, and my sister was in 8th grade. And so my sister had the smallest class in the school throughout, like kindergarten through 8th grade, because we had a combined elementary and middle school. They fluctuated between 15 to 20 people. They were like our smallest class. Well, my class had like 35. Like she had a really small class. And so essentially a decent amount of the kids in her class were athletic, whatever. So the class under her, they're vibing, like they're doing it. But my sister's class sucked. Like there's no easy way to say it. They were just terrible people.
Oh,
and
that's
so
what
even
you
though
meant.
yeah, no, they're terrible. And so even though she like, oh my god, I don't even know. Thinking about this story just makes me quake. But yeah, even though the people in her class were really athletic, they're like, I don't want to do this. So essentially they'd be like, hey Maddie, just go run another lap instead. Like, right? They would just tell my sister to run another lap instead of taking the baton themselves. So even though my very frail, asthmatic sister, who could like not run to save her life, like she had to use an inhaler like intensely up until high school, right? Yeah, they made her run I don't know how many laps in a row sprinting fully, because this is a relay race. Like for the younger grades like me who just did the jogathon, I could walk it if I wanted to. But the relay race you were required to run. But they also didn't expect people to just give up their turns and make the same person run again and again and again. And so essentially, after I want to say like 6 or 7 laps, and they're like, hey, go run another one. My sister stops and throws the baton on the ground. And they're like, yo, like, what the hell? She throws up. Like, no hesitation. She just throws up right then and there. And everybody's like, oh my god. Like, oh no, we fucked up. And it's not because, like, oh no, poor my sister. Like, it's like, oh crap, we're gonna get in trouble. Because we, like, forced her to run beyond her limits. And so, yeah, long story short, I just remember being really petty that day because I didn't feel well and I wanted to go home. But, like, my sister ended up actually throwing up, so she got to go home and I didn't.
So you were upset because you didn't throw up and had a reason to go home.
I know, I was
reason to stop
disgusted.
jogging.
But no, my sister single-handedly killed our school's relay race. The following year, they did not let us do the relay race, and they have not done the relay race since. Yeah, my sister's class kind of abused the system.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, they just
Like,
abused this
sucks.
system.
That's absolutely awful, but that's
I know, I was
really
1 year
funny.
away from the relay race, too. So, like, I was in 6th, I would have gone into 7th the following year, and I would have done the relay race, but she got it canceled for me.
That's amazing. She did it for you.
Yeah, she's like, this is my gift for you.
She took one for the team. You're in a life debt to her now.
Yeah, no, that was horrible, though. I don't even think she had her inhaler on her that day. Which was just horrible.
That's not good.
That is
Yeah,
quite
so
awful.
if you ever do a relay race, teachers, please make sure people are running their laps, not forcing a small, frail, asthmatic girl run in their place.
I just like
It's just
I like the idea of Yeah, just like one of the teachers who's like, or because like there's someone who's marking how many laps you do, right?
No. So in the jogathon they mark it, but the relay race they don't.
Oh, got you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
more
no,
sense because
you're
I.
just trying. I don't know because I never actually did the relay race myself, but essentially I think there was a goal to try and be faster than the other class, but I don't know how many laps they were required to do before the relay race would end. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, you're
gotcha.
supposed to be faster than the other team. Like, that's the point. But I don't know how many laps they were required to do before, like, winning, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just like the idea of just this one teacher or like a parent who's cheering on for this event, being like, oh yeah, seeing that girl go around, just being like, good job. Then seeing her come around again, just being like, wait, this is a
I would like
this
to
a
point out there
relay?
were plenty of parent volunteers there, too, because they
Yeah.
were there, like, marking it off, holding, like, concession stands. They were literally parents that had like those little mist fan thingies cooling off students, like water hydration
Damn.
stations,
Yeah.
etc. There were parents everywhere, and none of them saw this happening.
I'm sure that some of them did and were just like, we say nothing.
The weird thing about that is my sister and I had almost the identical parents because all of the kids that were in her class had younger siblings in my class. And they
Oh,
were
wow.
all vicious. They were terrible parents. And no, I'm not even kidding. They were horrible, spoiled people who made rotten kids that turned out just like them.
That's
It was
that's
really
how that
bad.
works, yeah.
Really
Yeah.
unfortunate. Disgusted. Yeah, but that's how
That
the relay
sucks.
race got canceled. My poor
That's
sister.
that's really
Dang.
funny. I don't
Unlucky.
I don't have any heat stroke stories that relate to school. I have heat stroke stories, but they don't relate to PE, so I'm not going to talk about them. But all of my PE stories take place in the same year with the same person. And
Oh
I'm sure you
no.
can place a good guess as to who that person is. It's not me. It's Dylan.
Oh,
I was
dude.
gonna say.
Yep, they're all Dylan stories, and they're all freshman year of high school. So,
Oh boy.
again, just for clarification, Dylan is Brandon's cousin, and he's also been a lifelong friend of mine. I've known him basically since I was like 5, so I've known him for most of my life. And you'll find out that
Also, the reason how we met too.
that's also true. I know Brandon and Grace through Dylan's Minecraft server. So, try new things, guys. Uh, but anyways,
Not
throughout
all internet friends are scary.
that's true. I've met
Not
some weird
all,
people
some.
on the internet, but
Yeah.
okay, but yeah,
We do
so
not condone talking to strangers on the internet, by the way.
we just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We just were like,
Uh,
hey, talk to other people.
Okay, but okay, to be fair though, we knew that Dylan knew you well, and I know
Right, yeah.
Dylan, so it was slightly safer. It was you weren't like a complete like stranger.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But anyways, so you'll find out through more and more of my stories that I have with Dylan, that I wasn't really a nice person to him sometimes, because like yeah,
Sometimes you're
well,
still not a nice person.
because like I almost drowned him in a wave pool.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then there's this story that I'll start off with, just because it's really funny. To me, after like we're in like this weird period. So for freshmen at my school, PE was a required class. You need like 2 PE credits to graduate. Which means that you have to do physical education, which gives you 1 PE cred, and it's required for all freshmen. And then you can either make up the other cred by doing sports, and you get half a credit for 1 sport that you do for PE, or you can just take other things that satisfy that course, like weight training or lifetime stuff, and other things like that that will satisfy the credit. But PE is required for all freshmen. But the PE teacher that we had was brand new to the school. Like, he was a new teacher when we were freshmen, and he was just he was like a really chill guy, kind of just like, hey, today we're just not going to really do anything, just kind of go ahead, do whatever, which was honestly most of our days. We got to just screw around for however long. Like, sometimes he would have specific games that we would play. Other days he would just be like, just go do whatever, I don't care. And one of those do whatever days, Dylan, Eric, and I were just walking in the hallway or whatever. Dylan and Eric are going to go fill up their water, and I get to my locker to drop off something or whatever. I think he was like, do homework if you need to, and I had just finished like math because I had just gotten out of that class. I was like, all right, I'll just finish my homework. And so I put everything in my locker, and the way my school works is this high school is really small. The whole building is like 6 classrooms. We have a gym, and then there's a really long hallway, and that's the building. That's it. The hallway goes from one side of the school to the other, and all of the classrooms are lined on the hallway. And then there's the lockers, and then on the other side where the classrooms aren't is the gym. That's our school. That's how big it is. It's not very big. And so I'm at the one end of this hallway, and then Dylan and Eric are walking to the drinking fountain or wherever they're going. I think they actually might have been going to the bathroom or something. I don't remember. And they're on the other side of this hallway, and I had just put my stuff away, and I looked over, and for some reason, I wanted to be like Dylan in Brandon's story, except I was reciprocating it on Dylan, and I was just like, this is the perfect time.
Oh no.
I sprint down the hall. I sprint and I leap.
Oh no.
I just kicked Dylan square in the ass for absolutely no
Bruh.
reason. I just kicked Dylan square in the ass. And
I
he
wonder
turned-
if you would qualify as a bully.
Well, so here's the thing. Dylan turned around and like he had like just a physical reaction because I basically just shoved my foot up his ass. But like after that moment, he was like, it didn't hurt. After that, it just took me by surprise because there was a foot in my ass.
Oh.
So like, he actually told me it only hurt for like I don't know 4 or 5 seconds after that, just because he didn't expect a foot to hit him in the ass. But I for no reason, and still to this day, have absolutely no idea why I decided to do that. But it was freshman me who was kind of insane, so I kind of just am like, yeah, that happened, and I don't have an explanation for it, so it just exists, and I like telling
Yeah.
the story because I have no reason for it. But
Damn.
outside of that, 2 other things happened to Dylan that were really freaking funny during high school. So our friend Memphis, who we didn't really get to know well, he wasn't one of the group, one of the guys who grew up with us, went to the school or whatnot that we knew. He was just some new guy that we started to get to know. Same thing with Makez. We didn't know who he was, just some new guy we got to know. But Makez and Memphis both had Old Spice deodorant spray. And I'm sure you can tell where the story is going. They both kept it in their lockers, except Makez had a lock on his locker, and Memphis didn't care. And one day, for no reason at all of us just in PE were just like, where's Dylan? Where'd Dylan go? Oh, right, he's at an orthodontist appointment or something like that. He left. He has stuff in here, and he left for some reason. He's doing something, and he'll be back. We have no idea where he's at. We just assumed that he had an orthodontist appointment because he missed so much school to be at the orthodontist. It was unreal, and we were just like, we have all this Old Spice spray. Let's just destroy his locker with it. And like, there was like 5 Old Spice cans, so again, not all of us
poor
got
Dylan.
not all of us got to contribute. Me and Jake were the 2 that actually like just didn't contribute to this. We just stood back in the locker room while we watched all the other guys just absolutely drench his locker in Old Spice deodorant spray.
Damn.
And he shows up and actually like gets changed and whatnot, and he comes out and he literally smells like a can of Old Spice spray. It is so strong that he fills the gym in.
I mean, is it worse than Axe body spray?
No, Old Spice is a very delicious scent. It's not very strong.
It's just toxic.
but-
Okay, is it like so much to the point where it doesn't even smell good anymore? It smells like chemicals.
No, it still just smells like the Old Spice body spray. It's just he soaked in it so that the scent filled
Oh.
the whole room.
Oh, that's horrible.
And we just watched him walk out of the locker room because the spray is it's a liquid. It's still it's still got that spray stuff on it. So when you dump cans on it, the spray kind of sticks to the clothing. It looks like Dylan had just gotten out of the shower when he walks out of the gym with his clothes. His clothes look like they're soaking wet, like he just jumped in a pool. And we were just like, oh my god, oh no. And because it's the spray, it's also like it looks super wrinkled because it won't unwrinkle because of the chemicals in the spray. So not only does it look like he jumped in a pool, but it also looked like his clothes shrunk when he wrinkled it. So it just looked so bizarre, and it was just like, oh, that's really unfortunate. And we labeled it as the Old Spice Wars because back and forth for like a good few months, Old Spice cans would be passed around in the guys' class, and every day the locker would just reek of Old Spice spray. There was never a day where there wasn't Old Spice being sprayed around, and actually like upperclassmen and everyone else started doing the same, and it was like, damn. Like there was even a time where like we were all getting undressed and like redressed into our school clothes kind of things after PE, and and just out of nowhere, I think it was Eric, honestly, if I'm being real, just starts spraying everyone with just a can of Old Spice spray, just going around, just absolutely attacking everyone with Old Spice spray. But yeah, that happened for a long time, for a good while.
Bruh, I can honestly say the worst thing about PE, especially in high school, I procrastinated on taking it till my junior year, and COVID cut it short, thank God.
Damn.
But this semester before, like my first semester that was not interfered with COVID, I took yoga. And I can honestly say, mixed up with like other people doing PE at the same time and sports lockers and stuff, even though we have showers, they don't give us the proper amount of time to use them. So the girls' bathroom smells, or locker rooms, whatever, smells so fucking gross. Because it smells like sweat and Bath and Body Works, like, combined. Instead of, like, applying more deodorant or whatever, they're like, let me just spray this body mist all over myself, and no one will ever know that I was sweating like a pig. And it's like,
oh no,
your hair is greasy as hell.
Yeah, if you open the boys' locker room door at our school, it would reek Old Spice. If you open the girls' locker room, it would reek perfume from this one girl in our class who would walk out, and everyone's just like, Jesus, how much perfume did you put on? Oh my god. Okay, but anyways, so yeah, Dylan got harassed in the Old Spice War, but that's not where Dylan's freshman PE embarrassment stopped, unfortunately. So there was a day after we had just gotten changed, the Old Spice battle had just ended, and we all got changed. And
the Old Spice battle.
And we had, I had all walked out into the gym and whatnot. And then after PE, we all get dressed and whatnot. We go back in the locker room. I was late to get back in the locker room because I was talking to the PE teacher or whatever and putting stuff away because we like to play broom ball a lot, which is just like field hockey, except you have a rubber ball and like Q-tip mallets instead of like a puck and sticks. It's honestly quite fun. And a lot of us played it and we were super into it. But I was late getting in the locker room and everyone's laughing, especially Eric. Eric's doing that hyena laugh where like he's absolutely dying, and I'm just like, what happened? And Dylan looks like he had just like shit his pants or something because he looks so embarrassed about what's going on, and he's holding up his pair of jeans that he wore to school, and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? And Eric looks at me and he's like, Dylan just ripped a giant hole in the ass of his jeans, and I was just like, what do you mean? And Dylan was just like, I have no idea. I just opened my locker, pulled my jeans out, put them on, and Eric stuck his finger in my ass. And I was just like, wait, what? And he showed me the hole, and it's like a very, very big rip in the back of his jeans.
Oh,
And I was
no.
just like, dude, what did you do? Did you like tug on them or anything? He's like, no, I just grabbed them out of the locker. What we think happened is that like
Oh.
Dylan threw them in his locker, and because they were like really crappy metal ones, it just got caught on something and ripped. We still have no explanation for like what actually happened. But Dylan
I
had
think
a
it was a conspiracy.
massive rip in his jeans.
It had to be on purpose.
We had
Someone
well.
was
The
trying to
thing
fuck
is
with him.
the thing is that his locker was locked, and there's not enough like they're like the weaved like the woven ones. Weaved? What the fuck is weaved? They're the woven ones, the metal woven ones. So like there's holes, but you can't actually do anything or affect anything inside of the locker. So we have absolutely no idea what happened other than explaining it like, yeah, Dylan, it got caught on something and you tugged it and it ripped. And like this is the only I'm not gonna say this is the only time, but this is one of the few times freshman me like was just like, yeah, here, I'll help you out, Dylan, and I didn't like do something to embarrass him more because it was something that's like genuinely embarrassing. Like I wasn't gonna piggyback on them. I gave him my hoodie so he could wear it around his waist because yeah, it was a
Nice.
very noticeable rip, and I was just like, yeah, dude, this is quite unfortunate situation. It's very funny, but also I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened. And for me, I don't know if anyone else knows how like who did this or anything. I don't to this day. We walk into our next class, which is theology, which is quite fun to have when you just had a bunch of freshmen get out of PE before lunch, smelling like apes, going into a class for 45 minutes before lunch. But all over the board in that particular classroom is Dylan ripped his pants. Hashtag ripped jeans. Hashtag poor jeans. Hashtag Dylan's ripped jeans. It's written all over the whiteboards in that room. I walked into that room and I was like, what fresh hell did I just walk into? What is happening? It was just like, oh my gosh, this is and I still don't know who did it, honestly. I do not know who wrote that stuff on the board because they had to do it when there wasn't a teacher in there as well, and the teacher didn't notice it at first until she actually went to start writing on the board and was just like, what Dylan, did you rip your jeans? I was just like, oh no, oh no. Yeah, it was quite the unfortunate circumstance for Dylan. The only other explanation for it is that Dylan's locker in the locker room has this is an end locker, which means that like it's supposed to like be pushed into the wall. And it's designed that way to where it's not supposed like locker is supposed to be up against a wall because the metal frame on the top of it on the side is completely open. It's meant to be pushed into another locker or meant to be pushed up against a wall and drilled into the other locker. But they didn't do that because none of our lockers matched anything else. So Dylan just has this giant opening on the upper part of his locker. You can't like reach into it unless you have like a ladder or anything to get that elevation, obviously. So no one could have just like reached into it, cut a hole in Dylan's jeans and threw them back in there. But we're just like, I have no idea because the only other thing that entryway to Dylan's locker was used for was shoving any and all papers that we found in the locker room into Dylan's locker. If we found pencils, if we found papers, we just put it in Dylan's locker. And before you're just like, oh, poor Dylan did it to himself too. So Dylan helped contribute.
He put papers and stuff in his own locker.
Yeah, we would find like people's homework because a lot of the guys, a lot of the sophomores and juniors were very irresponsible people, and if they would do like their homework in the locker room and then just show up late to their class, and if they like accidentally left something, it would all be stored in Dylan's locker. No matter what it was, if it was notes, if it was like a missing page of a homework assignment, it was all put in Dylan's locker because we were just like, you don't get to leave this here without repercussions. Yeah, no, but us as
Jeez.
freshmen, we were kind of tyrants, and Dylan got embarrassed quite a lot. And most of any PE story other than other things, just PE nonsense revolved around Dylan. I do have one
Gotcha.
quick story that I'm just gonna make super quick, just because the one reoccurring joke that we got from PE was the fact that we had to lay down tarps on the gym floor in order to like cover for like plays and
Oh,
other
our
stuff
high
like
school
that.
did that.
Yeah, we have these really thick tarps that we had to lay out. And since we were in PE, we were in charge of that for some reason. We were freshmen in charge of setting up tarps across the whole gym. And we were also in charge of putting them away. So anytime there was an event that ended the next day, if we had PE, we had to put those tarps away. And we were pissed off at that. We did not enjoy doing that because the first time we tried doing it, it took 2 hours. And our PE class time is only 45 minutes. We missed we took all of PE, all of our theology class, and all of lunch to put the tarps away.
Just let you run overtime? Like,
no, we had to put them away. We were in charge of putting them away, and yeah, they let us run over time because we hadn't put them away yet. Our theology teacher came in because the PE teacher and the theology teacher were married, so she was just like, "Where are my students?" And he was just like, "They're trying to figure out how to put tarps away, but none of them are listening to me." But what he meant by listening is that every single time we would put the tarps away, he was like, "You're going too fast. Nope, too fast. Nope. All right, now too slow. Slow it down. Slow. Too quick. Nope. Now straighten out." But he wasn't helping. He was just standing in the corner, being like, "Start over. Do it again." And one iconic quote that came from this after the 2 hours is he gathered us all together to have a little 5-minute TED talk with us about just like, in life, if you're going for things and you're trying to figure something out and it's frustrating and you got all these things going on and you have people you can't work well with and you got all these things, just if you try to do something too much or if you go too fast in something, you're gonna screw up. I'm gonna say that again. If you go too fast, you're gonna screw up. And for the rest of our high school, all we said was, if you go too fast, you're gonna screw up. No matter what happens, we were like, if you go too fast, guys, you're gonna screw up. And we had to do tarps several times throughout the 4 years of high school. Every time, just guys, if you go too fast, you're gonna screw up. This is so funny that was Jake's senior quote.
Nice.
He made that his senior quote of, if you go too fast, you're gonna screw up. And it's just like, every single day I was just like, fuck these tarps, bro. I hate these tarps, man. I absolutely hate them so much. But yeah, I had to tell that tarp story. It's an iconic one from my freshman year. Other than Dylan just having his life just traumatized. The tarp story traumatized us all and made us hate each other. None of us were friends when we did tarps. Not a soul.
Oh.
Grace, do you have any more thoughts or?
Brandon, that was so many violent stories.
Oh,
Jesus, man. All right, well, winding this back down. Back to what we actually do here on this podcast is make fun of someone. So Brandon, who are you throwing a stone at? Who you think's
me?
the third wheel?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm making this decision.
Man,
this is kind of.
I like the word me, Brandon. Are you voting for yourself?
Yeah, all right. So Brandon voted himself.
No, that was not my decision. I was just clarifying.
You're just clarifying.
This actually is kind of a tough decision. I enjoyed both of your stories. So I guess I have to pick. So
yes, you do. If you abstain, you're automatically the third wheel. I'm saying that right now. If you choose not to vote, I'm making you the third wheel.
That's fair. So reasons that will be specified in a second. I'm gonna say that Steven was the third wheel for the episode, just based off of I did enjoy hearing about experiences my cousin had as a freshman. I just think that I I just found similarities in Grace and I's stories, like the heat stroke, and then I thought it was funny that people that we knew got stuff shut down at my school, other schools. But I think the most distinct thing was that uh um I mean, like, yeah, I mean, uh, like my stories, they involved me or like getting hurt or something like that.
You
Grace
were
got
beating
assaulted
people,
by
yeah.
yeah, Grace got assaulted by a soccer ball, which also that's another
On
reason
many
I want
occasions.
to give Grace kind of the win here, because what are the odds of getting hit in the face with a soccer ball as you're trying to talk to your team?
That many
Um,
times in a row too.
yeah, so that, and yeah, that's pretty much, like, yeah, and yeah, most of your stories, like I said, I enjoyed hearing about Dylan, but I feel like like it was mostly like, yeah, but
Yeah, no, that's fair.
honestly, if we do a part 2, I look forward to. It does sound like you have some more stories, so
Oh,
I am
yeah.
looking forward to you changing my mind. So.
All right, Grace. Well, how about you? What's your stance?
Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to go with Brandon on this one. I will agree this was like a really, really hard one. I think this is actually the closest one we've had where we've all had something to contribute, like of equal weight. But the thing is I felt like most of Steven's content was just bullying Dylan. I don't condone said behavior. I mean, that's not necessarily why I voted you, but I just felt like there was not one single story about yourself. It was just mostly all about Dylan.
Yeah, no,
And I was like,
totally fair.
I don't know. I just do not know. Old Spice body spray, just good old fashioned bullying. Nah, we're good.
Yeah, no. Definitely understandable. And
Not that it matters, but how do you feel, Steven?
Well, it does matter because I do say myself as well. I'm gonna be
Whoa.
completely honest about it. I'm
Whoa.
gonna be 100%
Whoa.
honest about it because, yeah, Brandon's point, I do 100% agree with the fact that you gotta feel for Grace playing, having the chances
Oh
of
my
getting hit in
God.
the face with a ball more times. Like, the odds of you being struck by lightning are higher than what you contributed to this. You got hit in the hit in the face with a soccer ball, or just a ball in
God.
general. Anytime you mention the
Tragic.
sport of soccer, so definitely
This
feel
is
for you there.
tragic.
And I agree. All of my gym stories that came to mind today, were related to Dylan. That's just because those ones are the funniest to me in particular, just because they all involve Dylan, all in the span of like a few months. So those were the first ones that came to mind. And yeah, Brandon, I just feel for the people that you just punched, man.
I got assaulted too. I just want to point
Yeah,
that
but
out.
did I say I feel for you? No, I didn't. I like just the imagery of your stories of, like, part 1. I can just my creative mind can just imagine like short bit animations of your stories of just, flying sidekicks all over the place. Every single story you've had involved just a punch being thrown or a flying sidekick. It's just really funny to me. So that's why I have to save myself for this one. While the stories of Dylan were funny,
They were.
both of yours are just like incredibly visual stories that I can imagine happening and just witnessing in awe, having absolutely nothing to say about. So, yeah, I would have to vote myself as well for this one.
Well, you're the third unanimously voted person. I really thought this would be like less rare.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's
honestly.
happened to all of us at least once now, so it's
Yep,
like,
it's true. It has happened to all of us at least once.
That's interesting.
No, yeah, it's quite an interesting feeling, But it also, it's very humble to vote yourself, Brandon, every once in a while.
I did vote myself first.
Yeah, but you always start off with, with self-preservation. I'm gonna vote this guy.
I only said that once last week.
I just used that exact wording because I just finished editing that episode, so
Oh.
so I used your exact words because I thought it was really funny. But yeah, that is my third wheel story. I don't know if being unanimously decided that I have had less to contribute is a good thing or not. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, me personally, I didn't vote you just because you had less to contribute. It was just I don't know, because
The
I said, you
content
both had.
differed more. You didn't
Yeah.
relate as much as our
Yeah.
content, which makes you the third wheel.
No, yeah. What I meant to say was just I don't know if being the third wheel of this episode is a good or bad thing, because that either means I didn't have as detailed, relatable instances for you guys, or not. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I guess that's something to figure out later.
Oh, well, yeah, like you said, it sounds like like I said, just take notes.
I have more horrors, but they definitely don't relate to the context of today's episode.
Well, yeah, if we do a part 2, then yeah, it'll be a redemption round for you.
Next episode. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, anyways, I guess it's time for my loser speech because I lost. Like I said, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but you know what? I'll take it. We've all been unanimously decided as a third wheel once. I am glad to say that I wasn't the first. I'm absolutely happy that I wasn't the first unanimously decided. I don't think anything will ever recreate the moment where the very first episode Brandon decided that he was the third wheel. I think that'll forever be something that's amazing. So, other than
Unlucky.
that, do you guys have any parting words?
Don't be asthmatic and get a relay race canceled because it's gonna ruin it for your younger sister, I guess.
Did it ruin anything though? Did it ruin things?
Yeah, I had to do the jogathon like a normal person. I didn't get to experiment with the relay race.
I guess that's fair. How about you, Brandon?
I mean, I guess don't solve violence was as much violence as I did that one day.
With as much. Oh my god. No, don't solve violence with violence. That's your statement. That's what you should say.
You know what? There's better ways to handle it, and honestly, I did feel pretty bad.
No, stop tiptoeing around it. Don't solve violence with violence.
I'm just saying, I did genuinely feel bad for Aaron after I did what I did, and you know what? You do feel bad. There's better ways to handle it. And
didn't you also push a kid into a fire extinguisher for taking your lips off?
That's a topic for another day.
Yes, but that didn't happen.
We're moving on. We're moving on, Brandon.
Well, Grace, since you opened us, do you wanna hit the outro?
Absolutely, I do. Thank you for listening on whatever podcast listening, whatever you're listening on. If you're listening on YouTube, drop a like, subscribe to us, comment if you think it's funny, comment who you think the third wheel is. If you're interested in being a guest, which you better not be one of those fake people sliding into my DMs without actually listening to the podcast. But yeah, there should be an email attached to whatever. It'll know.
Be in the description of the episode.
Yeah. It'll be in the description, so make sure to reach out to Steven. He's very particular. You got to be professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely he is. And make sure to include your name, possible topics that you'd be interested in, and possible things you can contribute, and how you would be an overall addition to the team for an episode. And with that, I'll hand it off to Steven for last thoughts.
Don't split end your friend when he's not expecting it. Don't do that. don't do that.
All right.
Don't flying sidekick into someone's ass.
All right. And don't forget that there's nothing wrong with being the third wheel, except that there's everything wrong with being the third wheel.